We got to Standing Rock with a trailer full of teepees on the night of November 20th to an encampment considerably larger than the one we'd left a month earlier. Down the middle of Flag Road, a line of ambulances came and went, one after the other. People were coming in continuously with injuries from tear gas and mace, rubber bullets, water cannons, and flashbang grenades. One girl on the front lines who was struck with a flashbang grenade later had her arm amputated. On the front line, the militarized police in Humvees barricaded the only road north out of Standing Rock with razor wire and concrete embankments. Even though more than 200 people were injured that night, a steady stream of water protectors flooded onto the bridge to maintain the civil disobedience late into the night. So many people were soaked with water cannons in the sub-freezing weather that fires were lit on the bridge to prevent hypothermia. The early morning hours saw a reprieve from the violence as the sun began to rise over the floodlights erected by the National Guard that reflected off of the waterways, which people had come from all over the world to protect. They stood strong, unarmed and unyielding, to save the water used by the merciless military police force paid to attack them. The defiant beauty of the rising sun sheds light on the headwaters of the Missouri River, source of drinking water for tens of millions of people. And it sheds light on the militarized police state, paid to endanger it.
Will be arrested for criminal trespass, and munitions will be utilized to effect those arrests. Move to the south of the bridge to avoid this.
Let them hear you sing. Let them smell our stench. They throw tear gas at us, and we burn sage for them. They throw rubber bullets, and we throw prayers. We do not act as bad men. We are children of the earth and the sky, and we gather so that the Babylon towers will hear us. The earth and the water do not belong to men. We belong to the earth.
Until at about noon, the elders ordered that everyone return to the camp and evacuate the bridge. Only a trio from Palestine remained, to pray at the site of a war zone that they described as eerily familiar. Back at camp that day, life continued as normal as people streamed in by the hour, answering the call to protect the water, coming from all corners of the globe. And Shining Light began to set up the 6 teepees that it brought from 1,000 miles away so that people could fjord the long North Dakota winters. The poles were collected over the course of 4 years in every northwestern state, and had seen many rainbow gatherings before reaching Standing Rock. 4 of the largest teepees went to Two-Spirit Camp, a place for LGBTQ people to gather in the center of Oseti-Saquon. The smallest teepee was donated to a group of ladies on the outskirts of the camp. 1 teepee was set up across the river in Rosebud, and a set of poles was donated to a lady over by Red Warrior. The cost of the teepee canvases was covered by donations from the Two-Spirit Camp and a few private individuals. The expenses associated with the transportation of the teepees were covered by a benefit at K-Bay Cafe in Homer, Alaska, and the poles were donated by the Shining Light Kitchen. Some people only had tents to separate themselves from the cold. There were yurts brought in from Mongolia. One was used for a medical tent, one for herbal medicine, one as a wellness center, and acupuncture. A construction barn was built to make the subfloors that go into the teepees and the yurts. Tiny houses were being built everywhere, and giant green army tents were set up as cafeterias, mess halls, as community spaces and meeting places. And everywhere tarpies are being built out of 2x4 and white tarp, with a stove stack going through the center. People had gotten creative, building longhouses, huts, and wigwams. Domes were brought by the Burning Man community. But it was the teepees that were everywhere. Arguably the oldest mobile dwelling. Easily the simplest. Elegant. Universal. It's a technology that's likely been used at Standing Rock since the end of the last ice age, and one that will be around long after the last pipelines.